Well, Chris, I have been advocating for and campaigning for a John Cena versus Dominic match. I knew, all the reporting and
Yeah.
spoilery stuff has pointed towards Gunther. They're usually right. They're not always right. Sometimes plans change. Sometimes there's leaks that are wrong. So I don't like to just take it as a given for sure and talk about it as a for sure. But I had been kind of campaigning like, come on, get Dom a match. This is going to be
Right.
good for Dom. It'll be a great opponent for Cena. I was a little concerned that they'd be concerned that Dom would get cheered against Cena.
Hmm.
But what better place in Boston? If Cena was going to
Right.
wrestle in Boston, not just cut a promo, set up an impromptu match. I thought it was really well done. And Dom got his moment. And yeah, I mean, so what we can talk about what Cena said, but what in the promo and all that first, or a second. But first, let's talk about what you thought of Dom as a Cena opponent here, and Cena winning the Intercontinental title, getting a Grand Slam. Miz can't brag anymore.
Right.
However many, I don't know how many Grand Slam champs there are. Do you know right off? I should look that up.
No, I don't know. All I
Yeah,
know is Miz is twice, and he's going to
yeah,
remind you that every time.
exactly. So yeah, your thoughts, Chris, on all that?
I thought it was wonderful. Yeah, of course, it was hard to avoid the speculation. Tried to, you don't want to have the finish given away. I mean,
Yeah,
but it was awesome. There was chemistry there. In particular, the chemistry in the promo segment felt really, really good and authentic. And I said to my wife, like, John Cena just makes this stuff look effortless, And so the ability for them to have that impromptu energy in that sense, right, at least on screen, was a great way to start Raw. And I think it was a perfect way to set up somebody to have a meaningful defeat of John Cena at Saturday night's main event.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and to me, this is again, it is. I wanted John Cena to give back. And by give back doesn't mean lose. I mean, people are going to go, oh, John Cena beat him. It's not giving back. It's like you gain something from just sharing the ring and sharing the spotlight with Cena. And that's what I've been pushing for. I just like get somebody who's not someone Cena's wrestled a lot before or is older and give him a moment. And Dom didn't need it, but he is someone who can benefit from it because of the type of year that he's had.
Yeah.
And it did come across as kind of what you would expect from those two wrestling. It's you're not looking for a classic, but I mean they went like 14 minutes. I mean,
Right.
and they told a nice story. We got the Eddie Guerrero, kind of tribute thing, and Cena, imitate or kind of first person to think, hey, I can outsmart that by dropping down instead of standing dumbfounded with a frozen in place with a chair in my hand. And then he kind of, when the ref wasn't looking, kind of smiled over at Dom, like, yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
So it was, it was a fan pleasing match, in the right setting, and not to play off what they did, but the right setting at the right time. And so yeah,
Right.
I'm glad that this happened here. It's I don't know how many people in Boston were just anticipating they get to see a John Cena match or heard rumors of who it might be, but I think it certainly worked.
Yeah. It particularly the winking. Um, there was something about it that evoked our truth, right? Maybe it was the one moment in John Cena's retirement run where it felt like he was giving something back to our truth, and the nod on his face. There was a joviality there. Yeah, I loved the way they told a story that was all the sort of greatest hits in a wrestling match you'd want, right? This was not the most technical thing, like you said, but this was Metallica, this was Guns N' Roses, this was not a Swedish Norwegian death metal band, right? Like, and yet we love it for what it is. So I dug it. Yeah, I really did.
Yeah. So let's talk about Triple H's introduction at the beginning of the show. I mean, just,
Hmm.
I mean, I guess genuflecting to Cena here.
Right.
And I mean, it's appropriate. There's a time when Paul Levesque would not have wanted to do this. Triple H would have wanted to be the guy getting this kind of treatment for his retirement, but his retirement went differently. But he certainly got a bit, he was able to give himself a big push for his Hall of Fame entrance and all that. I mean, he had his moments, but I don't know if gracious is a word. It's just because it just feels like it's his duty and it's his job. And but it didn't seem like he was, plugging his nose or anything while he was putting him over. I thought it was interesting and for me a little frustrating that Paul Levesque listed these traits as meaning the all-time greatest.
Yeah.
Charisma, the ability to tear someone up on the microphone, the ability to do PR, and the ability to be, I love the ability to be overdoing it,
Right.
being a box office attraction.
Yeah.
What about winning matches?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, you're on a wrestling show where people pretend they pretend that punches hurt them and that moves hurt because they're trying to sell people on the idea that you're watching a sport. That's the spirit of the presentation. The spirit of the presentation is we're all here to beat each other up and win titles, and we don't know the outcome, and cheating helps heels get an advantage, and finishing moves hurt more than other moves, and they can't get themselves, someone of Paul Levesque's stature and history in this business going way back to the territory days, he can't get himself to drop his insecurity over social media going, oh, you're so behind the times, pretending it's real. The biggest honor you can give wrestling fans, wrestling viewers, is to pretend it's real while the show is on.
Yep.
And part of sort of pretending it's real is talking about the greatest of all time, the criteria that matters. 95% of your test score, to use a high school college term, 95% of your test score is wins and losses. And Triple H is it's so easy. All he had to do was lead with that. Go, John Cena, there's debate about who the best of all time is. And, obviously 95% of the test score should be how many titles did you win? How many matches did you win? And did you do so with honor? Bring that up too. Right. But you know what puts you over the top with a lot of people? And then kind of as an aside, not everybody agrees. We're going to have debates. It's fun. But the thing that puts you over the top is your charisma, your connection with the crowd, the tickets that you sold, the fans who looked up to you and saw you as an example. And yes, your ability, don't say the ability to do PR. That sounds so corporate. And Levesque's in the corporate world. He's in the corporate world now. He can't get out of corporate speak. Or it's I never put it past him that it's like intentional with plausible deniability to kind of dumb down the Cena speech. But instead of saying the ability to do PR, say the positive, the difference you made to reshaping how people looked at this sport. You were the face of the brand and you can get a little real here and go at a time when it was really important to have somebody who could represent this brand with honor. I mean, I don't know how far Triple H is going to go because he was part of the dishonorable part of it only as a character standpoint, not in the scandal standpoint. But there's a way to do it in a kayfabe sense. It has that sort of next layer that also brings up. It also had to do with we were a company with a bruised brand, and you helped rehab that. I mean, I just don't think it's that hard to say everything he said, but say 95% of the criteria is wins and losses and titles. And we know no one can beat you on that, but it's these other things that make you almost untouchable.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, to me, that just seems like the obvious thing to do with no downside. And it doesn't seem to cross their mind anymore because Paul Levesque's so wrapped up, as he showed in his thin-skinned sensitivity of, oh, everybody has an opinion about everything I do. It's like, get over it, crybaby. Jesus, you're such a snowflake about online criticism and oh, I was at the White House and people are mad. Yeah,
of course.
Deal with it. Of course they are. My God.
Take it on the chin. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just what is up with? It's like he carries it. You can tell when people carry the weight of social media criticism around, and he's like richer than he ever imagined, has the dream job that he always dreamed of, and he's worried about randos on social media making undeniably good points about mistakes he makes, or in most cases just subjective evaluation of something that is subjective, and he goes out there and has to whine. It's like, just you're a grown man in your mid-50s. Leave that stuff out. Grow out of it. Okay. That little rant's over, but it feels good to get it up.
Perfect. There were a couple things that he said this week that have clued me in. People have said that he's trying to be the Dana White, right? That TKO wants him to be the equivalent to Dana White in the UFC. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's it. I think he wants to be the Kevin Feige of the Marvel production company, as the one who is seen as not just the brain child who can pair some things together like Dana White might be as a fight maker, but Feige is somebody who is able to essentially claim singular creative brilliance for the MCU. We know that's not true, but he can make some sort of claim of that. So that's my take on it. Comic book babble and all.
Yeah, no, I love those comparisons. And I mean, Levesque's job is to be the corporate face of the brand.
Yeah.
And he's, he is it. And I thought he'd be better than he is. but I didn't have a lot to go on. I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm not saying he's bad at it. It's just he has some flaws, and there's like a level of insecurity about it that I didn't expect. But I guess I don't know. Maybe insecurity is kind of what drove him to achieve what he did.
Yeah.
I think there. Yeah, I almost. We can go off on a 10-minute psychoanalysis of public figures in this business, and we do sometimes. I'm not sure I want to do that now.
The only thing to say about the MCU thing in comparison with ESPN and sports was he said that in the context of somebody asking him about them being on ESPN as a sports product, and he specifically identified it with the MCU. So that's not coming from me. That's coming from Triple H.
Yeah. Peter Parsons says the most gag-inducing thing Triple H does is compare low IQ wrestling booking with Marvel. Job says, what is all this Marvel hate, excuse me. Or it's Joby. I don't know, Job or Joby. Derek Mitchell says,
hating on Marvel.
No, he's saying, the Triple H thing. Dana White isn't putting himself on promotional ads and commercials. Triple H has stood front and center, particularly with the Netflix series Unreal. And then John Prine's Gym Shoes says, who can replace Triple H? It's a replacement cost comparison. I don't love him, but honestly, who? Bruce Pritchard, Shawn Michaels? No, thanks.
That's a good point. That's a good question. Yeah.
Honestly, you don't need a Dana White of WWE. You don't need it. But William Regal can play the role. I mean, it wouldn't be real, but it doesn't have to be as real as Paul Levesque's legit corporate thing. But look at what Nick Aldis can just be the face of the brand. He's a smart guy who's great at talking. It's pro wrestling. You don't need a legit promoter to be the legit face of the brand. Fanblast said it's so ironic that Triple H wants to be seen as a guy in charge, but he also seems afraid to really put his mark on things in a positive way. Clean up the product. Do what you did in NXT.
Now, from a business perspective, though, Wade, how much of this presentation is coming from his own desire to be presented that way, or is it coming from TKO board, something above him? I don't know the answer to that.
What Levesque is doing is consistent with most of his, if we kind of psychoanalyze what drives him. I mean, the insecurity, but the drive, the motivation to be front and center, being kind of a prick at times when he didn't have to be, and saying, "Oh, it's just a joke," but using his position of power or the influence he had to make people feel uncomfortable in a way that was kind of bullying. I mean, that's part of his legacy. Yeah. But it's not the only part of him. And I don't think he's like a bad guy. I mean, like I don't know. I don't think he's a bad guy compared to the worst people in the world. Like, I don't want to sound like I'm not
right.
Like it's sound like an empty compliment, but like, I don't think he's evil, but I think he's just flawed and insecure, and his ego is on display in ways that I think is a little unbecoming, and that I think by now he should be secure enough to not show in ways that he does. Yeah. He also, I think, should have spent some time getting better at how to handle PR crises, when he's questioned. I mean, it's a weakness. And in the role he has, I don't know if maybe he's taken classes and just failed, like dogs who go to obedience training and still can't sit or stay or come. Do. Maybe he has, and he's just not good at it, and he freezes, but maybe he hasn't, and he ought to, for the job that he has. I mean, he hasn't been good in the Q&As whenever it's been a topic, but also maybe he'd be fine. Maybe he'd be good if he wasn't working constantly for other people who were looking to turn him into an example or looking for an excuse. Like, there are people constantly looking for reasons to make a case that Paul Levesque isn't the right guy. And he kind of operates scared. Like, I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to offend the wrong person who has more, like, I don't want to get Rock actively working against me. I don't want to say the wrong thing about how NXT talent are being used by Vince McMahon on the main roster, because then I'll get a phone call the next day and I don't need the headache. He just sort of is in headache avoidance and wanting to avoid getting in trouble with people who are out to get him. So in a sense, it's a strategy, and it's working because he is where he is now. But it doesn't mean just because it's a strategy that's working, we can't point out what he's doing and how it comes across, especially to fans. This isn't a case, chat's trying to figure out who would replace him. I'm not saying he should be ousted. I don't even know anyone who would draw that conclusion from what we're saying. We're just saying there's some work to be done, and it's not a role that has to be with Paul Levesque's legit corporate role. I mean, it could just be a figurehead on TV, and then there's somebody who's camera shy who runs things behind the scenes. It's not a requirement to have someone in the Dana White role or the face of the corporate brand. So,
And the truth is, he opens himself up to this kind of criticism with the way he so transparently does uh, validate what the internet wrestling community or folks on social media are saying
Mm-hmm.
by obviously responding to it, either in booking decisions or in the veiled shots he takes on the microphone. So he opens himself up to this kind of criticism and analysis.
Yeah. I'll read a couple comments in the chat, and then we'll introduce the show, and then we'll go to Taylor, who's joining us right after the show, attending the show in Boston. We have our on-site correspondent, and then we'll get to some other callers and chat comments too. But here's what some people have to say about Triple H. I didn't expect to talk mostly about Triple H. I mean, you know what? When you're the guy standing in the middle of the ring introducing John Cena, and you forget to bring up that maybe wins and losses and titles matter, and you're once again in a spotlight, whatever, you're gonna take some heat for it.
Yeah,
or at least I shouldn't say take heat. He didn't have to take heat for it, but some of the things he said and his history made him a bit of a topic here. We'll get more to John Cena as we go along here. Okay, Darrell says we are seeing that Triple H has more flaws, but everyone does. And coming off from Vince McMahon the last 25 years, he's 100% better. But he does need to figure out how to fit in his lane with all that he has. Yeah, I mean, he's a work in progress, but he's in his mid to late 50s. I mean, who knows how much longer he even wants to keep up with this kind of schedule and pressure. He certainly doesn't have to. I mean, he's financially set. Pete Parson says Triple H with a straight face claiming not to have read the lawsuit that implicated his father-in-law and potentially his wife 3 days after it was made public was when I lost all respect for him. I think that is a reasonable stance to take because I mean, either he didn't read it and it's like, what? Or he did read and he's lying to us. And it's like,
he
really?
Objected, lied.
Yeah.
Total lie.
Yeah.
And was that not the same pay-per-view or the one after where he made the comment that Mr. Derek Mitchell referenced before, the one about color blindedness? I think there was like a double faux pas in one post-conference that was just the absolute worst.
Yeah, I put that on the screen. I'll put it up again. Derek Mitchell says, I'll never forget Triple H's comments about Vince McMahon, and particularly not seeing color when black male wrestlers aren't used on main roster PLEs. It's in like so to be oblivious to what that statement, how that statement sounds to people, and how it comes from a position of white male privilege traditionally, with people trying to exonerate themselves by saying I don't see it. It's so disrespectfully dismissive, and it's sort of a cliched trope that's not a trope. It's a cliche. It's just a cliche that has baggage, and you should be smart enough if you're in the PR biz, if you're anywhere in the realm of trying to do good PR, you should be smart enough to not use that line. And instead, and this is why cliches generally should just be discarded entirely after about 6 months. They're clever for 6 months, and then they become just something you lean on. That just stop using them because they get misinterpreted, or just say what you mean instead of the cliche. So for Levesque, he could have just said, when I evaluate when it's time to bring somebody up, I am, while I take into account the history of this business and certainly a lot of wrongs in terms of prejudices and discrimination, people being held back or turned away. I think if you follow me long enough, because I'm relatively new in this position, I think you will see that I am giving people opportunities based on merit, and we are clearly fortified right now with talent that's going to create a very diverse roster over time. And some of those people, when it's time, especially on the male side, when it's time to call them up, they're going to get featured, and it's going to be done in a way where people are just going to go, they're qualified. Like the system worked. But right now there's going to be an ebb and flow to it. And we just don't, and he goes, he can whittle this down. I'm rambling now longer than I'm not setting a good example for how concise he could be, but it's his job to put thought into this. It should be a question coming. Yeah. So if it's his job to have a concise answer, say, we have people in the pipeline we're really excited about. Right now, there's an ebb and flow to things, and it is less than I would like. We only have so many spots at any given time. But if you look at the next 5-10 years, I think you're just going to see we're really fair-minded about this, and we are behind the scenes making sure that opportunities are given to everybody. And then he could even make fun of it. Go, some people say they don't see color, and I don't. I do see color. I want to make sure that we are proactively making sure that talented people of color are not overlooked for for wrong reasons, because they're not friends with the right people who are part of the institution of this company. There are ways to work that out, and frankly, that should be something he works out ahead of time. But just going, I don't see color. I mean, that Stephen Colbert was making fun of that line 20 years ago on the Colbert Report, mocking people who say that. It's like 25 years out of date. So anyway,
you cannot negate someone's experience as a person of color from the position of being a person who's white. You just can't do that. And that's effectively what it does, is it invalidates a whole host of experiences that man will never have, given the kind of privilege he enjoys. And that's just the truth. And it'd be much easier if he could accept that. Right.
Yeah. Well put.
It's a hard world, man.
Job
are broken.
Job says, I'll never forget money demanded to go over Booker T in that horrible storyline. Derek Mitchell says, I'll never forget Triple H's comments. Oh, wait, I already read that. There was something else he added a little bit later. But anyway, I'll say Fanbless, and I do want to get to Taylor here. Fanbless says, was NXT Black and Gold just a work? Where is that tone and presentation? He was like, NXT was a little engine that didn't have a lot of pressure. It was, there was a lot less on the line, and he had a lot fewer people listening to him, and he was trying to win over the hardcore fans through those media Q&As, kind of curry favor and be the friendly voice of indie all-star action that he was presenting on NXT at that time, as he was building a resume strategically to be a guy who would be embraced and social media would rally for to take over for Vince McMahon when the day came. That's what that was all about. Now he's in a cauldron of all kinds of demands and people coming at him and new ownership. And I mean, they are just, TKO Endeavor, they're just ruthless profiteers. I mean, profit seeking. I mean, anywhere they can make a little extra money, they do in a way that is so transparent as to be kind of a turnoff, I think, to a lot of fans.
Hyper-capitalism.
Yeah. It's just like, settle down and make sure people think you care about the product being good and fans being happy, instead of eking out, every last ad space and dollar. I mean, it's like, you can do it, just hide it a little more and stop bragging on TV about how much money you're making. Okay.
That's absolutely right. Yeah.
Yep. We can revisit some of this in a moment, but let's briefly introduce ourselves and then get to our on-site correspondent. This is the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling Post Show for Monday, November 10th, 2025. I'm Wade Keller, host of the show, editor, publisher, and founder of the Pro Wrestling Torch weekly newsletter and the website PWTorch.com. And we invite you to become a VIP member. In just a few minutes, we're going to talk about a sale that we're having, where you can save $9 on a VIP subscription if you want to see what it's all about. We think you'll enjoy the benefits, and we just launched that this week. So we'll have a little detail on that later. I won't get into it all because we got Taylor waiting for us, but stay tuned for that. So we're here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday live on YouTube, and then we distribute it to our podcast audience. Search Wade Keller in YouTube to find our show, or on your podcast app of choice. You'll see a red logo and a blue logo pop up on your podcast feed. Subscribe to both. The blue logo show is our flagship, along with interviews, media Q&As, pay-per-view previews, and flashbacks going back 5, 10, and 15 years. And the Red Logo show is our post shows with Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown on there, along with some flashbacks and other content on the podcast feed. Search Wade Keller, subscribe for free. And while you're at it, search PWTorch to subscribe to the PWTorch Daily Cast feed. That has a whole array of other shows, different shows each day of the week with different hosts, different themes. Search PWTorch. Job says, get the yearly VIP package. It's worth it, and you only have to pay once a year. So we'll get to that in just a few minutes. My co-host here is Chris Adams, a PWTorch contributor, and his cat. What's your cat's name?
This is Rosie. She's feisty. Yeah.
It's all over you, but it's wonderful. They're great.
Rosie bounces around. She's got that lucha style, so high flying.
Cool.
So I am indeed the gentleman, Chris Adams. Thank you, Wade, for letting me be here with you. I write SmackDown Hits and Misses, and I am joined by conscious Kurt Cadet on our podcast, Catching the Culture, where we talk about movies, film, their intersections, and what they might have to say about prevailing cultural trends. We also talk about current events and see how they are indeed keeping up with the times. We talk a lot about some of what Wade and I talked about, social issues. So if that's what you like, check us out.
Awesome. All right. Let's bring Taylor into our conversation attending tonight. What a night to attend. Taylor, thanks for your patience while we talked about Triple H for a while. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, Wade. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Taylor, first of all, you're a Torch contributor. You've got your articles on AEW top promos and top matches, and here you are, able to talk WWE with us. How cool was it to be in the building for this historic night? However you feel about John Cena, this was a cool event to be at.
Yeah, definitely. Tonight was, one of those nights where I kind of remember why I'm a wrestling fan. I just turned 40 years old, and tonight is one of those nights where I'm like, I'm going to be watching this till I'm 80. You know what I mean? This is the best. It's kind of like, I kind of went back and forth on, am I going to go tonight? Am I not going to go tonight? This is the first WWE show I've been to in probably about 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
So, I'm glad I paid the price I did to get into the building tonight. It was definitely worth it. Definitely, one of those nights I'm going to remember for a long time.
So obviously the crowd was 100% pro Cena. Well, I mean, was there anything other than that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was pro Cena 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of was waiting in the lobby. I heard you guys kind of talking about Triple H, and I actually emailed you when I said, hey, Wade, I decided to come to the show last minute tonight. Let me know if you want to hop on. And you responded. And when you responded, Triple H's music hit. And I responded to you like, of course.
We just lost our connection with Tyler. We'll see if it comes back. That's sometimes how those connections can be.
Dude, he was seeming hyped, man. He was having a blast.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
When you go to an event that has that kind of energy, and you kind of feels historically significant. It is. There's an adrenaline rush that comes from that. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, like you said, it's one of those moments he'll remember and be perseverant until he's 80.
Yeah. So, let's backtrack a bit. We spent a decent amount of time talking about Paul Levesque and his role. We only saw him standing in the ring when his music played and he came out. What kind of reaction did he get from the Boston fans? Is there anything noteworthy about that? Looks like Taylor froze again.
It's cold up there.
Yeah, I hope it's a technical freeze and not anything otherwise. Oh God!
I hope the chat appreciates that joke. That was good.
That was nice. Yeah, I chuckled. All right, so we'll see if Taylor comes back to us. You know what? I'll just throw up the graphic now for that VIP sale.
Yeah.
PWTorch.com/GoVIP gives you details on VIP membership. There's a link there to the sign up form. It's a $9 discount. So you get, if you use a coupon code 2025 NOV, as in November, 2025 NOV, that you can apply that $9 discount to 1 month, 3 month, or 12-month subs. You can get a 1 month subscription for $3.99, $3.99. There's not much you can buy for that these days. And if you're curious about VIP membership or curious about the new Wade Keller news bulletins that come in a single page PDF that's cool to read on your laptop in landscape view or on your tablet, or an all-text version on your phone, or an audio version that runs about 16 minutes. I'm aiming to do 2, 3, 4 a week. I'm trying to fit them into my schedule. It's actually a challenge with everything that on my plate. Yeah. But I love doing them, and I want to write more, and I want to give my take on news, and I want to provide a more concise format than a lot of other podcasts, which run long. So there's a lot of motivations for this, and more. I won't get into this. It's all about me if I talk about that. But it's a format I like, and I like writing, and I like reacting to the news more. So it's kind of got 3 prongs to it. It's got a main story with a headline, so you can kind of see, what did Wade think was the top thing to write about today? And then there's also another column that is news and notes, like just kind of I provide some context, some insight, maybe some scoops on some news items. And then the last column is my end notes, which goes back decades, where I just do random thoughts on things that maybe are small things, maybe big things, whatever, but I try to do a bunch of rapid fire points, or sometimes just choose 1 or 2 topics to do a little sidebar on. Sometimes in the first 8 or 9 of these that I've done, it's kind of an aside to the main story, but it's sort of a tangential thing. So anyway, that's new. Check it out. But we have your cat's very interested in this plug.
Here for it.
We have newsletters. My Pro Wrestling Torch newsletters going back to the late 1980s. It's I think a blast to see how wrestling was covered from the Torch perspective, from my perspective. Leading a team from the beginning. I mean, I've always had a bunch of people. I've always valued other perspectives and learned from other people and wanted diverse opinions. And as much as I'm so the face of the brand in many ways, I really have always wanted different people to contribute in a wide array of voices and different perspectives, because we're all fans for different reasons and have passions for different things and knowledge about different things. So all that is evidence in our back issues. It's a real education on wrestling and an entertaining one. You know, it's not like studying for the bar exam,
Right.
although that might be fun for people who go that route. But we got 20 plus years of podcasts on demand. We started podcasts before podcast was a word. We still kind of call them audio shows because we didn't know what to call them back then. And hundreds of fascinating retro radio shows from the 90s too. Some that I hosted on KFAN with big name guests, live caller format. So it's a blast. But if you're not about history, there's just new stuff every day, VIP exclusive content. And then these shows on the podcast side of things go ad free, so you get the commercial free versions of the commercial breaks. They just skip right past them on our podcast feed for VIP members. Compatible with Apple Podcasts, the Apple Podcast native app, meaning CarPlay also, Android apps, other iOS apps. And it's single click. You get an email, you click it, boom. There's no advanced settings, no passwords. We have a really slick setup. Very low friction to get everything up and running. And it's mobile friendly, desktop friendly. And yeah, you're just missing out on a lot. We work hard on the VIP side of things with a wide array of features. Our post pay-per-view roundtables we've done for over 2 decades. We continue to do those. A lot of just popular shows. So yeah, check it out. I mean, we don't offer sales much. We're not giving it away. You know, $3.99 weeds out the people who just, you know, like they're just gonna take advantage of the cheapest sale ever. I mean, we love you, but like, you know, $3.99 gives us a little for the work we're doing. But it allows you to not, you know, I know there's a lot of people asking for membership money these days, and there's a lot of recurring subscriptions. And, you know, if you want to support a small business, a family business has been around for a long time that covers honestly and passionately something that you also love because you're listening to me talk about this. It's a good way to support a small business. I'm not asking for charity. We give you a lot in return for your money, but it is what keeps us going, and we'd love your support. So pwtorch.com/govip. Take $9 off a 1-month sub. See what it's all about. If you went away for a while for all kinds of reasons, come on back. Just try us for a month. If you don't have to commit beyond that, but $3.99. Think about what that gets you these days. You get a whole month of exploring everything that we do and unlocking nearly 40 years of what we've done. 2025 NOV is the coupon code. Nice. Okay, I'll flash that on the screen a couple more times, but otherwise we'll move on. I don't want to turn this into. Didn't want to turn this into as long of a plug as it was, but I get going.
That's okay.
Let's.
I can weave all of that together with Triple H, honor, and hypercapitalism. Man, I got it.
Nicely done.
In a world of hypercapitalism, support somebody who works with honor. Wade Keller post. He's the man.
Yep. Awesome. Thank you. Job is pushing. Get the 12 months. It's worth it with the $9 off.
Yeah.
And Real Legend says, I think aimed at you, Chris. That was such a dad joke.
It was.
Yeah.
But it was a good one. I had to take it.
Yeah. So let's hope Taylor is not getting messed with by Triple H. When I asked the Triple H question, he's like, they've talked about me enough. Taylor, welcome back. Right. Welcome back. How was the reaction for Paul Levesque when he came up?
Yeah, TKO heard me talking bad. They shut me down. I'm too close to the garden. Yeah, I think it was one of those things where, like, I mean, the crowd was hot from the minute I got in there. They had a main event taping before. The place was going wild. I mean, packed to the rafters. Even the obstructed view seats behind the stage, fully packed out. And then I think we were all just waiting for Cena's music to hit. And then Triple H's music hit. It's kind of one of those moments where you're like, oh, cool, Triple H. And then I think everyone was just kind of like, okay, we're here for Cena, dude. Like, we're ready for Cena to come out. Like, I don't need your speech. I don't need your spiel. Like, this isn't your moment. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it was like, hey guys, don't forget about me. I'm from New Hampshire. You're like, I'm from around here too. Don't forget about me. Like, I'm one of you guys too. You know, I'm gonna introduce Cena. It just was kind of like, nah, man, come on. We just want John. Like,
Yeah, I can see that. And it's like, do we really need, like, if you're a John Cena fan and you believe in him, do you need Paul Levesque's endorsement to validate it all? Especially when you're just going to watch going, where are the backhanded compliments? You know, where are the, it's like, you know, it's not he's good in the ring. I mean, it's you can measure criteria a lot of ways. And there's a lot, trust me, there's a lot of debate. Not everybody agrees with this, but I agree. I believe.
Yeah.
And my favorite line is he said, I'm looking for the quote here.
When he called him an asset, one of the best assets, it was like, what?
That's actually, that's not what I was thinking of, but that is good.
Yeah.
But he said, okay, the categories are endless, but the truth is they're all subjective. He said he can see it from a lot of sides. As a fan, a talent, a performer, a businessman, and a promoter, I can see all sides of what it takes to be considered great. And tonight might be one of those nights where everyone in the arena can agree. And then he says, this is the thing. He said he can look at it as maybe the most objective person there is. He said, I might be the most objective person there is when I say John Cena. I'm like, well, what was that all about? And he said, when I look at it objectively, yeah, John Cena is the single greatest asset that this business has ever seen. So he put himself over as objective and the expert who has, it's just like, man, I don't know. We all have our things, but Triple H talking about himself is one of his things.
Yeah,
Chris, you wanted to jump in?
That asset line just really, like, in the crowd, I was like, wow, that is really like corporate precise wording. You know what I mean? To call someone, I'm an attorney in my everyday life, and I'm a pro at hearing corporate precise language. And I was just like, wow, that is really, to call someone an asset is really, that's something.
and people who work in the corporate world, I mean, they hear this talk all the time, and it becomes your language. I mean, it does.
Yeah.
Like, when mobile apps were huge, I went to a mobile conference, and I was around people, and it's like, oh my God, everybody's like using all these weird words, whatever. I won't, just like all these corporate jargon terms. And it's like, okay, I mean, it is their language, and it's fine, but it was jarring to me. And then I remember being around WWE PR people at live events, and they would like say, oh yeah, the superstars are excited about this. I'm like, wait, you're not on TV. You can say the wrestlers. Like, it's just you and me. Like, you don't call them superstars. Like, you don't have to use a corporate speak. And I mean, like, but that's their language. And so when you're in the corporate world, and that's what you think about all the time, it leaks onto television. And a great communicator, the great politician communicators are the ones who leave all that stuff behind. Like, they leave all the senatorial formal, stuff behind, and it gets some politicians in trouble. And then others are just, the really great communicators, Ronald Reagan, Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, they left that speak in, they understood the difference between talking to people and talking about political, the people who are just constantly thinking about the political terminology and all that. And so Paul Levesque's not good at that. He's not great at that. It's unfortunate. JC Scooby says, yeah, Triple H has really lost his way. Fan Blast, as far as my VIP poll goes, by the way, said, I'm honestly fascinated by Wade's entrepreneurial journey, the rise of the torch, and the adaptation with the times. I could never. Thank you, Fan Blast. And Derek Mitchell says, I can understand Taylor's sentiment about Triple H intruding on the Cena moment. I didn't mean to put up the comment about me, and it just came up. I clicked the wrong thing. I was I'll just read it. But I was looking for Derek's comment. I understand Taylor's sentiment. All right. So I don't. Do you want to make fun of Triple H's corporate speak anymore, making this about him, Taylor, or should we move on? You're welcome to add to it if you have more to add. Oh, we lost Taylor again. Poor connection.
Well, here's something that Taylor said that is significant and important about Triple H and the asset thing is that the relationship that an asset has with the thing that owns it is only one directional. So what Triple H told everybody was that he sees Cena as somebody who brings value to him, but he's not going to offer Cena anything, right? It's this relationship of pure objectivity that was just frankly disgusting.
Well, let's talk about something that wasn't disgusting, which is the heat for Dominic in that building.
Yeah.
It looks like we lost Taylor again. Taylor, you there? We got to talk about Boston's 5G signal.
Dude, there's so many people up there to see Cena's last match that they've blown up the
That's right. Yeah, they're all
there's probably some truth
calling their friends. Well,
so that heat.
Yes. So, Chris, was there anything you would have done differently? Since I'm hoping to talk to Taylor about this in a second, you would have done differently with Dom and how that was all handled, from the setup to the match, the execution of the match, the finish, even the post-match celebration, I guess, the applause that Cena got backstage from his colleagues, where Rey Mysterio came up and said, yeah, that kid needed that ass kicking. Is there anything you would have done different, or that kind of stood out that you just felt like wasn't good?
I did not particularly care for the fact that they had Triple H be the one to make the match, because that confuses that role of chief content officer and you're creating content.
Mhm.
I tend to prefer matches still to be made by Adam Pearce,
Yeah.
even if we know he's talking to Triple H, right? So I would have found some other way to have that not be the moment, but I also could appreciate somehow the optics of Dominic talking such trash, not just to Cena, but to Triple H.
Mhm.
I appreciated that, and you couldn't have had that same energy with just Adam Pearce there. So I
Yeah.
would have found some other way for the match to be made.
It could have been Pierce just walk out and go, I can't stand back and watch,
Right.
let's just deal with this now. Paul Levesque, without, if you'll allow me, and Paul could go, by all means, Adam
There you
Pearce.
go.
What I think I know what you have in mind. You're the matchmaker on here. What do you are you thinking what I'm thinking? And Adam Pearce goes,
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah,
It's
that's how I
happening now.
think I should have gone.
Yeah.
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 But I did love him facing down with the current face of the institution, right? And having the guts to embody that, just high on his own supply, Dominic Mysterio, right?
Yep. So where are you on Dom right now? Because I gush about him. I
love him.
I think this was not a Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, R-Truth. I'm trying to go back in history, like to people who just sort of, amid, someone just an agitating heel who gets beat up. This was more than that. This was, Dom is all of those things, but he is a future main event star for this company. And I think that this match played out in terms of length and presentation, framing Dom as somebody who Cena either knew or knew was a future star, respected enough not to bury, and knew he could help him. Darrell says in the chat, Dom looked like a star and handled himself like a top guy. Darrell says tonight's match between Dom and Cena wasn't a match that was supposed to happen, and those fans tonight played into knowing they weren't going to get a match when they got one, and they came out with energy. But yeah, overall, this seemed like a further endorsement, I guess, to me of everyone recognizing what some of us called months and months ahead of time when it wasn't fashionable and when people were still scoffing, which is Dom has an X factor that hasn't fully manifested yet, but it's there. And if he's not mishandled, he can be a big star. And I think that's, I think that's happening. I'm patting myself on the back for seeing that coming.
You manifested itself into existence, but it's true. When I came back, when I started watching October 22, he was getting those thunderously loud boos, but he was still kind of just not doing much. And he has had a consistently steady rise of getting to this point now where he's in the ring with those two people and it feels completely natural. And they also succeeded in not burying the AAA Mega Campeón title because of allowing Dom to have purchase in the match with Cena while losing, still found some protection there. So I thought Dominic still came out looking awesome.
Yes. Agreed. And there's plenty of time for Dom to be protected as a star who doesn't lose and all that. That was not, it was my concern, isn't making Dom look like he's in Cena's league as a wrestler, but Cena gave Dom an attitude adjustment and Dom kicked out. It's
That's
not like he didn't get to kick out of big moves. Yeah. So yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll wait to maybe Taylor's going to drive somewhere else and give us a call. Hopefully that's the case. So let's bring Rude Dog into the conversation and see what he wants to talk about here. Rude Dog, I bring you on because I know that if Taylor calls back, you will be cool with us putting you back on hold for a few minutes, right?
Of course.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. So what's on your mind?
Well, I lost my place. Let's see. So it was obviously very smart for WWE to put Dom against Cena in Boston because maybe any other city Dom will get cheered.
Yep.
But and you said that this did boost Dom up a little bit, but How so do you think? Like, I mean, and is there even a chance that he could, I mean, because this tournament isn't even like finalized, I don't believe. Could he end up being an opponent trying to win his intercontinental title back?
I think that's a possibility. I don't think so. I think Cena's probably not going to wrestle him twice because what Dom, and so yes, a couple questions there. Dom got out of this. He got to have a moment with John Cena in Boston Garden, on Raw, on one of Cena's last TV appearances as an active wrestler ever. And he got to go 14 minutes with him and kick out of his finisher and got to go back and forth with Cena. Well, Paul Levesque, a big star, Triple H, a big star. I mean, we can pick on and evaluate Paul Levesque and try to make fair, honest points about where we think he can be better or where his ego sometimes gets a little long-winded and presents itself in places where it'd be better off not. I mean, that's an opinion. As Paul said, everything's subjective. Doesn't mean all opinions are equal or that some aren't self-evidently with merit, even if it makes you feel bad, but they are subjective. But he was in the ring with some big stars in a big moment. I mean, I'll put it this way. My first thought was when you said that, how does Dom benefit? This is not an explanation or evidence. It's just I enter this for consideration. Almost every single wrestler almost every single heel and many baby faces under contract, I'd bet the vast majority wanted would take that time Dom got today in the match that Cena gave him. I mean, Dom got to be out there for 20 plus minutes with John Cena during a match and a promo. That's super valuable time. It made him. We talk on this show as Dom's a star. Fans are reacting to him like Dom's a star, but WWE has to put him in places that only stars exist in, and he got a spot that only a star would get, unless it was to just be humiliated and just goofed on. It's just like, oh, you're just a goof, and we're just gonna squash you. That's not what this was. This was a showcase moment for Dom to do his bit. Chris, you want to add to any of that?
Yeah. Well, look, is there any chance that the spot is a squash match where he loses to Obafemi? That's my take. I'm not sure I'm interested in having Dom come back around in the tournament. I'm interested in something a bit more surprising happening for my money. But it's interesting the way they've teased, they've teased other people coming back in. So we've got Miz, we've got, what's his role going to be in Saturday night's main event? I don't know. I see lots of through lines crossing for that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk more about the tournament as the show progresses, but I think because there's some fun possibilities to just talk about, even if you just are thinking, hey, reports have been Gunther. It's been talked about for months. It's probably Gunther. Doesn't mean for sure it is. Audibles are called. Things can happen. Gunther could have an injury, so he's going to show up and whatever. I don't want to get all wildly speculative. I'm just saying.
Wild.
Yeah, but to circle back to Rude Dog's very specific question, could there be a rematch here? Yeah, I wouldn't be totally against Dom getting a rematch, but I would be more for someone else getting a spotlight moment if it was handled well. I don't want anyone to squash Cena in his farewell match. I think politically, no matter the context, some people would resent that person forever and not think they really did anything other than they got shoved down our throat. Like, oh, this is Paul Levesque's new Roman Reigns-esque push. And I think Cena's his final match should be good. It should be long. And he doesn't have to win. And, he can go out on a shield, but it shouldn't just be kind of like you showed up, you paid all this money, and you got a minute of John Cena, and you paid $3,000 to sit there. I think it should be. I think Cena wants to go out with a really, really good match. Gunther's a great opponent, and because Gunther's not going to ask for a bunch of weird timed high spots or crazy bumps. He can do a methodical match that you could drop into 1981 or 1976, and it would work, but do so in a way with credibility that John Cena style could kind of work around. So style-wise, I think it works, but it can also be really good. I've been a little let down on Gunther's more often. I don't know if more often than not, but roughly half of Gunther's matches have been sort of like, the things I like about him, I think he's leaning on a little too hard. I'd pick up the pace. But with Cena, like there's just certain wrestling you can just do your signature spots and people are going to pop, and that's where Cena is. So it's fine if it's that. I think now that Dom had this match, I don't want to keep campaigning for him to get the final match, but this could have been the final match. I mean, if you can imagine this on Saturday's main event, this is what I thought could be a great Cena final match. Dom competitive, cheats, Cena ultimately wins, but Dom gains something from it. This is what I imagined and lobbied for Cena's last match, and it certainly could have been. I don't think we need to rewind it, though, or replay it. Ruduk.
Cool. Yeah, and it's also interesting that now the Intercontinental Championship is involved, and I wonder if that's going to be a part of the storyline of who wins the tournament. Like, I mean, there's always been Sheamus. They had this thing, it felt like forever, that he's never won the Intercontinental Championship, and he won. And then Sami Zayn, their next Saturday night's main event is in Montreal, which was, I think, announced today. And if he was the guy to beat Cena, like, that would be pretty massive. But so do you think the whole twist of the Intercontinental Championship is going to dictate who faces Cena?
Chris.
I do. I think it is going to be the prize, not just beating John Cena in his final match, but there are some extra stakes. That there are ways to have that title get taken off of Cena in his final match that makes whoever it is be explosive. That's at least how I would treat that event and how I would book that. So I think it factors in hugely. I do. And
I mean, having Gunther's history with the IC title and to have that be something he regains from Cena, I mean, it's I don't say perfect, but it's appropriate. I mean, you can really, and Gunther can even say, I don't want to just enter this tournament to be the guy who embarrassed Cena in his final match, or who had the honor of beating the subjectively all-time greatest wrestler. I have a chance to further my journey to being objectively seen as the greatest. But you can imagine Gunther cutting a promo going, there will be no subjectiveness about my greatness when I am done. And I've already been the greatest IC champ ever. It is embarrassing that John Cena is the IC champ. I will take this title back, and I will continue my journey to being the objectively best wrestler of all time. I mean, there's material there for him, and they added to it with Cena winning the belt. So, if that was a plan all along, it fits. So
that does. I could see some real dynamism happening between the way Gunther's European objectivity would demand a sort of perfection in his performance against John Cena that could make the stakes feel huge for that belt once again. So yeah, I love that, Wade.
I'm glad, by the way, Cena stopped saying he's the last world champ.
Yes.
I mean, we spoke out a lot. I don't think we were the only ones. I don't see every wrestling tweet or commentator, but it was so classless and unbecoming and needless. It was a heel line, and he kept it. But having him, we could imagine him wanting to retire as IC champion and break the lineage. Like, it's a little bit weird there, because as a heel, he wanted to retire as champion to break the lineage of the title. And now he's at risk of basically advocating for that I want to beat Gunther, but now he has to reframe it not as ruining the lineage and I'm the last real Intercontinental champion. He shouldn't go there, and I don't think he will. I think lesson learned. I just think it was, they didn't think it through enough. Instinct should have been better. But yeah, they're in a bit of a conundrum. Maybe it's not a huge deal, but they should be cognizant of that this is a similar framework, and they should find a story to tell if they do go that route. Maybe he's not IC champ, but I don't know, whatever. But if he is IC champ and he wins, you got to be careful not to sound like a heel who wants to break the lineage.
He's got to lose it. He can't retire with it.
Yeah. Cena follows the IC title's legacy, says Pickens CJ. Cena follows the IC title's legacy and drops it at a house show in Brazil.
Okay.
Got a good chuckle out of it.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Ruduk.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever. I mean, I'm not sure how you think this whole Cena retirement is going, but they've kind of like make, as Stone Cold would say, chicken salad out of chicken bleep. So I think I'm interested, at least. So it's better than how it was going. But
yeah.
All right. Well, here's a swerve. What'd you think about the Nikki Bella heel turn tonight?
You know, it's you know, and those like reports and rumors of AI helping write wrestling scripts and storylines. Like, oh my God. Is AI writing every turn? Like, are they going, oh, we have these two wrestlers, here's the backstory, how do you suggest we turn? And all AI knows is that this is how almost all turns go. That someone needlessly shows loyalty during a match and then pretends to congratulate them. And then the babyface takes 3 steps away and turns their back, and then they get attacked. And AI thinks, I reference this a lot. I'll at risk of being repetitive, I'll do it again. I read an article like 10 years ago with someone going, it was like in a corporate branded online magazine, but it was written freelance. And the person goes, as everybody knows, pro wrestling is built around a GM starting off a show and making matches in a 10-minute speech. And I'm like, no, that's something that's really awful. That's been done too much for the last like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. It is not a forever trait, and it does not have to be that way. But that's all they had seen. You know, that's all they had ever seen. So they just assumed that. It's like, no, that is a bad lead sentence in an article because it's not true. But you can understand someone thinking that. People must, like, AI must think the only way to turn on someone is this exact scenario. And then they go, and I also see headlines, AI, you know, processes WWE's doing record business, record revenue. So this must be a good way to do turns. And so every turn is the same way. It's so unimaginative. I was chatting with a wrestler in WWE this weekend, just texting, and, you know, their take on this is just like, we're just doing a slightly different version of the same thing all year. And it's in, you know, they're hoping that Paul Levesque changes and shakes things up, and that the writers do too, that there's just, everything is a slight variation, but it's becoming predictable and repetitive and derivative. And I mean, yeah, and this was, so, I mean, everyone saw it coming, which is all the reason not to do it. Cause it's just so like, okay, we're just like, we can, like, you just know it's going to happen November 10th. Like, everyone just had a countdown clock to Nikki turning. That makes a babyface look foolish for not seeing it and turning her back on her. Chris, I know you're jumping in there.
It makes her absolutely ludicrously stupid. La Primera has to be anticipating such pathetic attempts to take her out, right? It took her down a few notches in my viewing, not my estimation. She's amazing, but in her presentation, I think it dropped her down. I mean, to your point about AI, they very quickly tried to downplay those reports, which made me buy into them even more, for the main reason that we have seen the same reductive story beats happening. And if you are using predictive AI models that are increasing in their persuasiveness, that will redirect praise to these things, right? It makes sense that they would keep basing all their stuff on a kind of automation like that, which is sad and frustrating because it makes cool moments like this just seem so pathetically shallow.
There are things that AI can be helpful with, and in a way, and it can also be, you know, like, you know, you see articles how teachers are trying to beat the system with like Trojan horses and like invisible. I shouldn't give away the game, but like invisible questions that are in white font. And so when people write a story on this topic, they'll like slip something in that the student doesn't even read the question once it gets pasted in, and it says, in addition to world history about Abraham Lincoln, tell me about the best strawberry pie. And that the best recipe for strawberry pie. And then the student just pumps out an AI story, and somehow strawberries are referenced, and the teacher knows, okay, you pumped it into AI. So they're trying to beat this. There's all kinds of clever things everyone's trying to do to beat it. But there are things AI can help with as a sort of a research assistant, but you got to double check. I mean, they're like, I mean, AI once told me the biggest WWE match ever was the Hulk Hogan Steve Austin WrestleMania main event. You know, like, I mean, so yes, it pumped that out. But we're still in the early stages, and I don't think utilizing AI behind the scenes in WWE that there isn't a way that you can't use it in some way that's helpful. But there are many, many ways that are just a waste of time or unhelpful or are going to give you a bad output. And it actually, I think pro wrestling booking is one of the examples of what AI can't ever, well, what do I know, but ever replace,
No,
because
I'll go
AI is
with you.
going to take away the subjective.
Yep.
They're going to look at record business and how turns are done, and they're going to think, well, that's how turns must be done, and they're not going to have that nuance of knowing the big business booms happen when a promoter stops doing tropes from the past, freshens things up, puts in young talent who are unproven but have an eye for the intangible of is this person going to draw, and then they pull from storylines with new characters from the past that take into account how tired and repetitive and thus ineffective the things that have been working are losing their steam because they've been done too much and they become predictable. And maybe I will account for all that. I don't think it will for a while. And I think there are things that defy research and input ABC and outcomes a solution. There are things you just have to have studied this business long enough and also just have a gut reaction. AI, I don't think is going to, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I don't know if they're going to look at an NXT wrestler and go, he has an X factor and he doesn't. I don't know that they're going to be able to actually decipher that connection that comes when you see a Dominic Mysterio and you go, he has it, but you see someone else and you go, there's just something that's not there and it's not going to work. And if writers start leaning on that too much, we're going to get drivel and derivative, repetitive stuff that's ineffective. And so anyway,
well,
that's my hot take on AI.
There'll be no intuition into how humans actually behave, right? And so if you have this consistent pattern of storytelling happening where all the turns happen when someone just has their back and it's just this, the blocking is the same, the pacing is the same, the timing of how the beats happen within the segment is too similar. If you're going to have a heel hit from the back, a babyface, fine. That's fine. We're not so mad at that. It's the reductivity of it all that is so, it's saccharine. It has no meat to it.
Totally. So Chris, real quick, what do you think of Nikki turning? Just let's take out the predictability and the pattern of it. Rude Dog asked about that. You okay with it? Honestly, I would have been fine with her. I would have been fine with her not turning and just being a good friend because it would have broken the pattern of the predictability of it. And I actually think she's been kind of endearing as this gracious veteran who's trying hard, and Stephanie's boosting her self-esteem, and Nikki can just work, eventually wrestle for a secondary title. I don't think people are like pining for Nikki to suddenly flip to a character that isn't believable. Maybe she'll be good and believable, but I don't think people are pining for what is, I think, more likely, which is a generic I'm a heel and she's a bitch like type thing. Although the bitch meter's been retired, it's gone away. I'm taking credit for that too.
Dude, good for you. Man.
No, there was a bitch,
but I'm taking.
There was a bitch tonight said I don't remember, but
oh really? I missed it. But it is. I'm okay with. I want to be clear as a parenthetical. I'm not against the word being used. I'm against it being used constantly every show. With the idea being that the third person to say it thinks they're saying something edgy and shocking. So I mean, I don't say ban the word. I just go. It should be used like by certain people only, and only once every month or two on TV. And it got crazy overdone. So yeah, that's why I don't have a bitch meter right now.
My main problem with it is, again, is there any realistic world in which she can stand up to Stephanie Vaquer in a wrestling match one-on-one? Absolutely not.
But that is kind of what defines her as a heel. That there's a story to be told here. I don't know that I love it, but she has insecurity over aging out. She feels that she's not respected enough by the youngsters in the back. But she knows she can't win on her own merits anymore. So the only way to achieve the success that she craves, rather than gracefully moving into the next stage of her life and career, is to cheat. And, the core element, not of all heels, but a core element of really most heels is they either can't win without cheating or have a laziness or desire for a shortcut or a brazen disregard for honor that leads to them cheating. And so if Nikki has an insecurity, she knows she can't win unless she cheats. I mean, that is a fine definition of being a heel, because but that should be Vaquer's response. And Joe Tessitore and Michael Goldko, the only reason Nikki turned is because she can't hang unless she's cheating. Call her out on it.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the first time she betrayed her, though. She butchered her name the first time she ever spoke of her on Arrival, right? So we should have seen this coming.
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
All right, we're done.
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's funny. But all right. I'll go to another topic. So Lash Legend was on the show tonight, which is one of the dumber pro wrestling names in my opinion, because it's just talking about her eyelashes. But she's progressed a lot in NXT. Like, she was terrible when she first started there, and now she's at least serviceable. And now she seemingly is on the main roster. So what do you think about the potential for her?
There's some chemistry with her and Nia Jax. Very small sample size, but I mean, it seems like they sort of relish each other's company and lack of moral character together. I don't know. What do you think, Chris?
I've enjoyed what I've seen so far. I didn't watch their matches against each other in NXT, although I'm kind of interested to go back because I like the size pairing. But already Nia Jax has altered her presentation, straightened her hair, dark hair. There's something there that I'm looking forward to seeing play out. I don't know if the potential means that the promise will actually come to be, right? Looks like there's some good stuff there. Rude Dog, I don't necessarily mind the name Lash Legend. I'm not, hair culture is not my thing, so I'll appreciate it when it gets appreciated elsewhere. I wouldn't know what else to call her though. Her size is certainly legendary though. She's big, man. She could probably, do a full gorilla press on me.
Rude Dog, what else?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious to see what she can offer to the table. I think she has potential, but I don't like the name. But anywho,
yeah, she'll be in good company with names that seem very phony.
There are some bad names over there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna throw one more grenade before I sign off. With now how WWE seems to be aligning more with TKO's standards, do you think we will have a WWE show at the White House? And I'll leave you with that. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Rude Dog. Maybe. I mean,
I'll play.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I don't know if we'll have a WWE show at the White House. I firmly believe we will have the President of the United States be featured on screen at a WWE show. I believe that will happen before we have it at the White House.
I think a lot of things can factor in. Because, I mean, like, is the current president still president? There's all kinds of things that could happen by the time. I mean, 3 years is a long time for somebody with everything going on with him and around him. So, there's that factor. Like, and then just does the public turn against what's happening enough that it's just bad. It's bad PR. It seems frivolous. Yeah. And it really could go both ways. Like the president's support team, so to speak, could go, we have to look like we're serious. Our constituents are seeing horrible things happening because of these weird, poorly thought out policies that are backfiring in all these ways. If that is what plays out, if it got to that point, or maybe it is there now, I'm not trying to be, I'm trying to say these are realistic possibilities no matter where you stand on the spectrum of evaluating what's going on right now. And if that's the case, they may advise him against it because it can look too frivolous, like you're not being serious. Or WWE could just go, no. By the way, on PWTorch.com today, we ran a poll, and just very simply, I said, how do you feel about supporting WWE as a company these days? Not about the product itself, but the impression of leadership and corporate culture. And right now, we have 65% saying they feel bad about supporting WWE. 16% said bad as usual. 49% said worse than ever. 22% say they have mixed feelings. Only 11% feel good. In our poll, it's unscientific. It's just out there for conversation starter. But it is actual people voting here. And 1% said they feel better than ever, and 10% said good as usual. 22% mixed feelings, 16% bad as usual, 49% worse than ever. And that's something WWE should be cognizant of. If they're so into squeezing every bit of profit out of every nook and cranny of this product that they happen to promote. They're not prosing promoters. They're looking to make profit and they're looking at the bottom line, and pro wrestling happens to be the product, but they can't be so obvious about it. They just can't be so obvious about it.
All right. So at a certain point, though, public favor won't matter in what big institutions are forced to do by an autocrat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so my suspicion is that he's going to appear at Saturday night's main event, John Cena's final match in DC. That's my fear.
Mm-hmm. Now, does him get booed at the Commanders game change that?
No, I don't think it does for this man. I think what he's operating with is a kind of narcissism that simply would not even allow him to entertain doing something he would not want to do, or not doing something he really truly wants to do. I think that, I mean, he'd
get booed at a WWE event, not a UFC
sure
event, but he got booed at it. I mean, it's a different fan base and it's a different socioeconomic.
But his cognition base. At the Commanders game today, when he was reading the oath, did you catch this? He said, "I," then state your name. He was supposed to say, "I, Donald Trump." His cognition is so low, he could not even.
He was reading the words without processing what he was saying. Right. Yeah.
So this is a man whose mind will tell him to do what he wants to do. So that's my fear. Yeah.
Like if you hand him a script, it should say, "I." Like they should spell his name out. Like they shouldn't say insert name. Like, and it almost seems like someone did it because they knew he might slip up and just read it word for word, not think about what he was saying. Because why wouldn't you just script it? It's the freaking president. Just like put his name on it. You don't need to save the script for the other people who might read it. Like give him a script that has his name on it.
Who else was going to read that? I give people these scripts in my own professional life, and I never give them one that says blank. It's always their name.
Yeah. All right. So we have another on-site correspondent who is calling us up. Effie, welcome. It looks like you're off cam or in a very dark space, but that is fine. How's it going?
Hey, Wade. It's going pretty good. I'm just driving home from the event.
Well, please be safe above everything. If you're in a car. We talked earlier with Taylor, and he talked about Triple H coming out and giving a long speech at the beginning, and then the reaction for Cena and the reaction to Dom. Just freestyle on what you observed in the building that maybe you might think we might not have picked up at home. We joined Triple H in progress, standing in the ring as his music faded, so you can talk about what happened before that. And then just talk about also any of this stuff, the vibe of being in the building for something this historical. Cena's last hometown live Raw as an active wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to double check. The last time I was on, my audio was terrible. Can you guys hear me this time around?
You're good. Yeah, you sound good. Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so we actually got the same thing that you guys got. When Triple H came on the screen for you guys, I'm assuming it's the same thing for us. People were surprised to see him. I'm not sure how he snuck him out. Nobody seeing him. It was kind of like a surprise to everybody in the crowd as well. So there was nothing beforehand. It was they're showing like the stuff I'm seeing. I'm assuming you guys saw the Newberry stuff beforehand before Triple H came out. So that was I guess normal as usual. And but the vibe was pretty cool. I've been to a lot of events, and I will say that that was probably the most epic I've been in the TD Garden at least. Now I'm not sure if it's gonna compare it to Raw's at the Mania, but for a regular Raw, especially in TD Garden, it was absolutely the best environment I've ever seen. And I was at the NBA Finals when the Celtics won the championship 2 years ago. And
wow.
I think it was comparing to that. Like, that reaction when he came out was insane. I don't think they added any noise. I think it might have been louder there. I just watched it on YouTube kind of driving back home, and it was definitely louder in the arena.
That's amazing. Do you think they'll hang a banner for Cena, as was suggested?
I don't think so. I think it's too much competition for sports-wise there. But
yeah.
Do you guys think that's a realistic? Like, or were you joking there? I know you have some sense of humor sometimes.
Was it Tessitore who said that?
I think so.
Yeah, he said, Tessitore, when they went to ringside afterwards, you went to see this. He said that we just added to the lore of Boston Garden. Cena should have a banner hanging up there. So they didn't spend a lot of time on it, but Tessitore kind of threw it out there as he looked up and he's like, we added to the lore with that moment. And you're backing it up in terms of you've been there for NBA Finals and you're saying this was intense. So John Cena being right from that area, and subjectively, as Triple H made sure to underline 18 times, subjectively, but in his opinion, the best opinion out there, because he's done it all, John Cena is the greatest of all time. See, I put him over. I did not throw anything out there to not put him over. I said I'm the best judge, and I am saying he is the greatest, despite making very clear everyone has an opinion and it's subjective. Very weird journey he took. But anyway, yeah.
I was choosing that too, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your reaction?
I think weird intro, but I think it kind of went well.
Yeah. So Paul Levesque. Well, how was the reaction for him as the big? Because first I know they did some main event tapings beforehand, but was there a sense of, oh God, it's a bonus to see Levesque, let's pop for him, or was it more we like you, but we're here to see John Cena? Like any sense of that from where you were?
No, everybody was definitely excited to see Triple H. Pleasant surprise. There's a bunch of kids in my little section, and they were definitely excited. I don't think nobody was mad to see Triple H, but they're definitely more excited to see Cena. And I think the people who read the spoilers knew Dom was coming out, but it was a pleasant surprise. It wasn't really a bad reaction or a positive reaction to Dom, which was kind of weird. I thought it was going to be more of a pop, but it was kind of more of a shock to see Dom when he came out.
So Dom has been getting like mega boos, for a while now, but also it started since the mega boos, it turned into some cheers. This was the safe place to have John Cena wrestle Dom. And it sounds like, and Taylor said, if I recall right, that, it was like pretty much 100% pro Cena, anti-Dom. I think there's people who love Dom and want to cheer him, but they also love Cena, and they know their role is sort of here to, you're honoring Dom by booing him. You're dishonoring Dom by cheering him because he's trying to get heat. So you don't, but some people can't help themselves in some cities, in some contexts. But in this context, it just made sense. Even people who love Dom would boo him for fun. So that's my interpretation from watching.
Yeah, everybody knew the deal for sure. Could you guys hear the chants, or they took them out?
What were they? I mean, we heard that. I mean, we heard something bleeped. Go.
Yeah. Do you want me to swear here, or?
No, don't swear, but you can use the first letter. We'll know.
They said. I couldn't really even make out the first one. It sounded like they were saying "F your mom." I didn't get that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't even understand like the context.
F you, probably F you, Dom.
F your mom, and then it was like a mix. It was F your mom, and then F you, Dom. Yeah, definitely both those. And then when he was approaching Cena, the crowd was saying, "You effed up, you effed up."
Yeah.
And that's when Triple H said he agrees to the Boston crowd.
Yeah.
So they were definitely excited when I think everyone knew where it was going to at that point. And when it was leading that point, it was a pretty intense reaction. And it was pretty epic again. It was, like I said, the best first segment experience I think I may have ever experienced for a Raw. Like, I think it was, from my opinion, being there, it was like kind of flawless in every aspect to me. I'm not sure what you guys think about that.
What does Dom seem to you, just your opinion, a guy who could be a headliner for WWE, or did this feel like a novelty mid-card heel playing a role for John Cena, doing his duty to get beat up? Or did you look at Dom and go, I know it's not where he is right now, but he took command of that crowd. The crowd was into him in a way that's beyond some mid-card heel joke.
I think, like, at this exact moment, I don't think he could be a headliner, but I think he just still lacks a little bit of size. But besides that, I mean, he definitely commanded the ring. I thought he stood toe-to-toe with Cena.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was cool, calm, and collected in there. He had the crowd in the palm of his hands. Didn't stutter. Didn't mess up one time. I thought he was pretty good. I think in the future, but I think he kind of has to put on a little bit of size, even though that kind of is not the era no more. But even like Logan looks good, Seth looks good. You gotta kind of have a little bit more body, a little bit more body. But I think in the ring and on the mic, I mean, I don't think you can't discredit him there. What do you guys think?
Chris?
And one last thing, and also being like a Latino, like, I think he has that, being on AAA right now too. I think, I mean, he definitely, whether Latino is really up there like that, and he's fluent in Spanish, I think that's pretty good for the marketing skills there too.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think of the size aspect?
I think so too. The size aspect, I'd like to see him get a little more on him. I mean, think of when Ilya Dragunov came back on SmackDown. I mean, he upgraded, right? He also came back with a wild neck tattoo. It seemed like, and I saw Derek Mitchell pointed out, Dom had some work done on that tattoo, and it's looking pretty dope. So he's getting that image coming up. The other thing that I think he needs, the one thing I'd suggest in promos is some variety of tone of voice, which may be a character thing, but I think once he gets up to the top, he's going to need to expand his level of expression. But that will not be hard for him to do at all. I mean, I love him. Like I said, I love him.
Yeah. Let's shift some other things that happened on the show, Effie, while we have you. CM Punk, another top name coming out early in hour number 2. Talk about the reaction for him, loud CM Punk chants, how it compared to Cena and anyone else on the show who was over, and kind of talk us through the reaction to that segment too, because obviously, I'm curious how Logan Paul's heel heat compared to Dom, for instance. Go ahead, Effie. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, CM Punk definitely. You guys good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Just your signal might come and go, but that's
CM
fine.
Punk. CM Punk was pretty. It was pretty loud as well. Not in the stratosphere of Cena, obviously, but I would say top 3 of the night. I mean, Rhea Ripley was up there for the surprise. I'm sure we'll get to that as well. But I think Punk was probably third, fourth-ish. And to be honest, I'm not a CM Punk fan, and he's kind of turning me around this run. And I think the crowd loved him, the kids in my section loved him. Didn't hear any negativity at all. So he definitely had a great reaction there. The segment was hit pretty well with the crowd as well. Logan. I'm a fan of Logan, but I can definitely feel it's not the same as Dom. Dom has the heel heat of "we love you." Logan Paul definitely has that, like, we don't like you at all. And I kind of don't understand it. Maybe you could talk me off the ledge. Like, I'm a Logan fan. I don't get why he gets so much negative heat. I don't understand it. But everyone at that point, the people in my section were all like happily surprised. Like, well, we got Cena. Now we're getting Punk. Oh, we got Jay. We got Logan joining the Vision, it seems like. We got Heyman. Cody come out. Oh, sorry. That was a big one. I wrote in my notes. I thought it was funny that while Cody was running to fight them, the crowd was still chanting his music as if it wasn't like about to be a fight. It was, I'm not sure if you guys can hear that on the TV or not.
It's cool.
Yep. That's great. Cody, someone in the chat pointed out that they had that Cody, let's see, Eric Moy says fans were singing Cody's theme song even though they barely played it. And where's the other one? Oh, yeah, Real Legend said, I thought Cody got a louder chant than Punk. The reaction for Paul Heyman.
He did.
Yeah, the reaction for Paul Heyman, because Paul Heyman standing next to Logan Paul, just tearing apart CM Punk, is weird. Like, it's but yeah, but it was entertaining. I mean, I'm on board for the thing with Logan is he has a past, like Job says. They judge Logan for his past. He's done a bunch of immature and barely I don't know. Unforgivable is a very strong word, but I mean, he is, and I don't think he's. I think every couple times he takes a couple steps forward in his PR image, then he takes a couple steps back again, and people go, okay, maybe he is a douche who is just doesn't really, whatever. He doesn't. His values don't align with mine. So there's sort of that back and forth. But behind the scenes, from what I've heard, he's like a humble, asks the right questions, wants to be an effective heel, is deferential, is grateful to be there, working hard. I mean, it's so he's not like this bad dude. And honestly, like, I don't think he would be at this level in the company, working alongside Paul Heyman and feuding with Punk because of it. I think they'd keep him on like this, the Logan Paul verse, like off to the side doing other stuff, to be in the mix with Punk and Heyman and Braun Breaker, their number one project right now. That's a sign of, okay, this guy, we don't resent him. We're not plugging our nose when we push him because he helps business. They think he can be valuable. So, and he's a real natural athlete. So, I mean, I'm not on the anti-Logan Paul, side of things like Effie you're referring to a lot of people being, but I'm not going to like say that I think he's like, that I feel good about some of the things he's done and his lack of contrition or remorse or correcting course on some of that stuff. Derek Mitchell says he comes across as naturally obnoxious and arrogant, and he comes across as a douche. So,
yeah.
But I think DC said
there.
Say that again, Effie.
I got a question. So, but can't you, obviously, CM Punk's a way better wrestler on the indies. I get that's probably the reasoning. But doesn't CM Punk have a crazy past of being immature and a toxic locker room?
Well, that's why
Presence.
people don't like. That's why so many people like you don't like Punk. I mean, that's why Punk gets booed. And I mean, WWE fans are into him because he's been on his quote best behavior. It sounds patronizing, but literally, he hasn't done things to trigger people. But he is a polarizing figure, like Logan Paul. I don't even agree. I think Logan Paul's offense looks better than CM Punk's right now. I mean, CM Punk his match on Site's main event was there's a lot of just things that just don't look like they actually really hurt anymore. He's moving around the ring like a guy who's got a lot of mileage, even with the time off, but some of that was taking a beating in MMA. So I think Logan Paul, not in every respect, obviously Punk is a superior wrestler in certain ways, ring psychology and all that. But Logan Paul is not just a high spot merchant out there. He's really, really good. And so, yeah, I'm not even when you say, Punk's obviously a better wrestler than Logan. I mean, it'd be crazy to not say, yes, that's true, but it's not true in every way that the average fan is noticing, because Logan is just that gifted and that good too. Yeah.
There are two things about Logan that are important I think to remember. The first is that he has an actual traumatic brain injury that drastically affected his personality that he's talked about, right?
Yeah.
And so that can do things like increase psychopathic tendencies, which is what happened when he went to Japan purposely to seek and find a body of somebody who had just died by suicide. That's sociopathic behavior.
Yep.
That's different than CM Punk's being an asshole in the locker room. So I think there are some comparisons that do need to be recognized, even though he is an incredible wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, it's I have to talk about the merit of the artist or the merit of the output, and not just
right.
From the position I'm in, I don't know if luxury is the right word, but it would be wrong for me to not go to say, because I don't like something. Like I said, unforgivable feels like a strong word, and with the right remorse and contrition, maybe you can, I don't know, forgiven is a word, but we can stipulate to that being unforgivable, but you get to go forward without that just anchoring you from being in public life. I mean, I
think he's tried to make amends for it in whatever way he can.
Yeah.
And apparently Japan sees it that way because they allow him back into the country. He was in fact forbidden from entering it for a while. So they let him back in.
Yeah. I mean, social media fame, trying to gain money, trying to get clicks. There's the weird psychosis that can drive people to make decisions that not everybody would make. Most people wouldn't make the decisions he made, but you want to see someone mature and grow from that, and frankly be ashamed of it. There are comedians who will say, "I am ashamed of what I did when I first got attention."
Yeah.
And I don't know that he's ever gone that far. I haven't studied all his public statements.
I mean, I don't think he can, given probably some of what he said about his brain. But I'm frankly surprised, Wade, by what you said about how he does have some humbleness, some humility, counter his song, right? That's kind of actually cool for me to hear. I heard Baron Corbin say that behind the scenes he wasn't a trouble causer, that he didn't necessarily roll with the wrestlers, that he had his own entourage, but there was no beef, and that he was a learner. So I did hear that. Yeah.
I just Googled because I was like, well, I can find out if Logan has apologized. And he did say I should have never posted the video. There's a lot of things I should have done different. And from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And he said that he was trying to it was misguided, but he said he's trying to raise awareness for suicide prevention. He didn't do it for views. I don't know about that. But the idea of, he said, where do I begin? Let's start with this. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, I mean,
all right. That's pretty big.
And that, yeah.
That's not for nothing in this world. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's, Logan to be a better wrestler if they were doing house shows and he wasn't a social media celebrity and he was working full time. There are things about him that are still, more flashy than substance. And he's not going to get that without more repetition. And he's not going to get that repetition because of who he is but that doesn't mean he's not valuable in modern era in a certain role. JC Scooby goes, he's an egomaniac clown. I mean, there is a level of being an ambitious extrovert with an ego that is almost necessary to get on the national stage in pro wrestling. I mean, there's a lot of super talented people who are not materialistic. They don't care. They don't need a bunch of cars and big houses and a bunch of random strangers admiring them for a fleeting moment in world history. That doesn't define their life. They define their life on did they give their dog the best day they could in their life? Were they in touch with their mother? And did they call their sister back? You know, like did they do a nice gesture for the neighbor that didn't earn them any money or any praise? I mean, there's people who define their lives in a very quiet, different way than people who I think sort of sadly and pathetically need a bunch of strangers in public who will never mean anything to them to be aware of who they are. I'm not. Yeah. I mean, I might be more successful at what I do if I cared more about that. Like as you know, it's different. People are wired differently, but there is something about being a public figure where you're kind of wired to sort of have that insecurity and feed off of something that I find very ephemeral and superficial and not all that important to our time on this planet, which is a bunch of strangers knowing who you are and praising you. I think a small group of family and friends who respect you is more important than a millions of strangers. But we wouldn't have, and I like rock stars who do it for the music and they're sort of begrudgingly are celebrities, and actors who are sort of begrudgingly celebrities, but they love acting. Right. But social media star doing the stunts he did, that was, you know, to get attention and get clicks and keep score with tallies. And that drives a certain amount of success, Chris, in pro wrestling.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, I think a strong, healthy ego looks pretty similar to a loud, unhealthy one. And I think sometimes we don't know how to distinguish them. So we do have egomaniacs in wrestling. Then we do have people with strong, confident egos who aren't assholes, right?
Yep.
And you don't have to be an asshole to have a big ego, you know, to be confident. Yeah.
Effie has tried to get back with us and it dropped. So there's something going on in Boston with 5G.
Wow.
It's because you and I are crisp and clear, and others who have called on Rude Dog had to go. So maybe Effie will call back. We got some more insight. Wasn't a complete show, but getting insight on Cody and Punk and reactions to him and Logan Paul. That was good. So if Effie, you're still listening, and can call back, feel invited. We'll keep it out for you. But in the meantime, before we run too long here, let's bring Darrell into the conversation. Swole says, you have an ego. Are you talking to me? How dare you? No, of course.
Bro, I think he's talking to me.
Oh, you know, he says, Wade, you promote your company for 20 minutes a show. I haven't, I mean, maybe 5, but I mean, that's part of running a business. 20. No. Maybe today was longer because we're running our first sale, like second sale of the year, first sale of the year.
But you're not a douche about it. Like Logan Paul.
Well, that is according to Paul Levesque, that is subjective. Someone might think
I have several degrees in philosophy. I can talk about objectivity. I'm objective.
All right, very good. There you go. I love it.
Yeah, you're good.
Yep. So Job says, well, you need to try the VIP membership. It's worth it. If you get the early membership, it's only one payment a year. He reposted that. Swole, this is going to backfire on you. Here's our graphic. PWTorch VIP sale. PWTorch.com. Everyone fast forward 20 minutes. PWTorch.com/GoVIP. Coupon code NOV2025. And you can save $9 on a full VIP sub. So $3.99 for a full month.
Got him.
All right. That was not 20 minutes. Maybe earlier it was. No.
Felt like it, bro.
You know what? We have so much cool stuff. It is hard. I've dedicated like 4 decades of my life almost to this. But there's a lot there.
Can I just prop you up for just a second?
Because, well, it's up to Darrell. He's going. You just said my name 2 minutes ago. No, go ahead, Chris.
All right, one thing.
Darrell's cool.
I have never heard anybody throw your name through the mud in social media in the way that I hear them talking about other folks. So that may say something about the quality of the work that you put out. And you don't pay me to say that. So, you know, you got a cool spot.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll pivot to Darrell because what more should I say there? Hey, Darrell. Nice. How's it going?
How y'all doing tonight? How you doing, Chris?
VIP member Darrell. Appreciate you your support.
Yeah. Hey, with those new little YouTubers and stuff, hey, you don't do it as much as them and the promoting. They'll spend 2 hours promoting and asking for subs and all of that and pausing. So at best, that's how it goes. You play the game how it goes.
Thank you. Thanks, Draw.
Yeah,
I won't say
yeah.
more. I've said what I need to say.
Yep, and I'll go with it all the way. I've been a member for years now, so
You have. I very much appreciate it. Yeah.
yes, sir. Now to get back to talking about wrestling for a second, tonight we got the War Games, and I was hoping that I love Cody. I was hoping that we didn't get Cody in the War Games because I was hoping that we got a singles match, but I guess we could tell that now they written off Drew for that since they putting Cody in the match, and also what John Cena said about Saturday night main event is going to be main roster versus NXT, the other
Yeah.
matches. So
Yep.
the only probably match we'll get in Saturday night's main event that's main roster versus main roster is probably John Cena and whoever he faces. So, but that specifically on the two War Games matches, they got all those stars together and things. That Survivor Series card, they're gonna need some more oomph because the single matches are gonna be kind of iffy, because we never see the US title defended on War Game PLEs. That's always the night before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we're gonna see Chelsea Green defending her title on War Games. We might get Nikki versus Stephanie Bakir on there, but you need some more single matches. I'm gonna get to a match that I think y'all didn't think of at first, but looking at the War Games matches and setup, we like to speculate who are we getting the next two people to join Logan Paul in the division and CM Punk and the Super Friends right now, because those two figures could mean a lot and you could do a lot with that. And also to talk about Logan, just to give a quick snap on Logan Paul, his heel heat is the heel heat that you need when you're building up a heel faction or you're trying to get other heels over and you want to get a baby face who you're desperately trying to get cheered over, because he's going to get booed and he's going to play into it, and he has got that down together. So who are the two people that you think they should add, or what they should add to these, because that's a big spotlight?
Yeah. Chris, any names come to mind that you think the average viewer would consider, and then that you think are also realistic? Because those can be two different things sometimes.
So are we adding one, adding two? How many are we talking?
I don't know, but I think 4 and 4 seem to be the direction they're going.
Yeah.
All
right. The only reason I'm perplexed is because they announced it. They did the War Games chants with the teams in the ring, and it was 3-on-3 and 4-on-4. Is there a chance they just keep it 3-on-3 and let it be a weird one?
It'd be weird. I wouldn't rule. I'd say there's a chance. They didn't explicitly say either, but I think that feels like it's not a War Games if it's 3-on-3. But they might just have decided that's what they want to do.
Is it possible we get Jimmy Uso on the other side somewhere?
Say that again.
Is it possible we get Jimmy Uso on the other team, the opposing team to Jay?
That's the thing. I mean, is there time for a turn? I thought like Jay was right in the Nikki Bella spot.
I thought he was going to turn.
Yeah, so I'm glad we say breaking from tropes at least.
Right.
The situation was there, and Jay was standing right there, and he didn't. So
I think he turns in the cage.
Yeah, that's the. I'm like, yeah, they save it for that. So if it's 5, then people will expect Jimmy and Jay together, and Cody and Punk, and they might be hoping or thinking Roman. If it's 4, then you can have Jimmy and Jay, Punk and Cody, and then on the other side, there's still the Austin Theory rumors. Mm-hmm. And that I don't know if Paul Heyman's high on him or Paul Levesque sees him as a project worth, giving a chance to. Yeah, I don't know. So, I don't know. I mean, that just throwing out a couple names. I mean, they could. Yeah. So maybe if chat, let us know if I'm just on the spot here missing something obvious on the men's side.
LA Knight.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking the babyface almost feels like Jimmy and Jay. It's like that's your answer, unless they do a Jimmy turn or a Jay turn before that. And so that gets us to 4th. They do 5, then yeah, you could do LA Knight or Roman. But then I mean, but I don't know how many people are going to join that. I mean, is there a heel tag team? Let's say it's Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul. And then are there 2 heels who kind of go together who aren't part of Heyman's group, but they would lend support if they make it 5-on-5?
Aleister Black.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because he's got some beef with Cody going on right now.
Drew McIntyre gets a suspension lifted somehow.
Where's Randy? What's he up to?
Yeah,
but they just confirmed that he off the for pre-production for that movie.
He's in pre-production. I thought the last I heard was
they confirmed they getting ready for pre-production where you go and you do the reads and everybody come together and stuff like that.
Okay, because the movie shoot got delayed till next year, in January. Yeah.
Derek keeps popping off with Roman, right?
Yeah.
And where he's fitting in. I mean, that seems like a lock. How could they not?
Yeah. That's why I say it's the 2 spots you can really uplift 2 people if you do 2 on each side. You can bring the Austin Theory in, let him be somebody that Logan Paul asks for precisely to be in or help join, just to add something to Austin Theory. I think that would add more to Austin Theory if he's getting brought in by Logan Paul and Paul Heyman. Like, okay, I stamped that, because it seemed like Logan Paul tonight kind of played a second fiddle to Paul, because how he was coming out there saying he's seen the vision, and I ain't trying to get cracked every week like broken Steph to understand. So it seemed like he's playing something to Paul, and how you had CM Punk talk, you can see that he said, "Oh, I want to fight you tonight, but I ain't putting up the belt." So they kind of thinking like they building towards a Logan Paul CM Punk match where he could probably, so those 2 spots could be cherished.
Yeah.
All right, so let's say we get Roman and Jimmy on the side with Jay, Punk, Cody, and we end up getting some replay of War Games from 2022. Brothers at War, and turns in the end, right, with Sammy and KO. There was all that beef in there. You've got the energy between Punk and Cody and Roman, that trifecta. So there's some storytelling opportunities there.
Solo and JC Mateo could easily join Heyman's group, and they could be common enemies there. Anyway, what else, Darrell? I don't want to spend too much time. I mean, we're just sort of spitballing.
Oh yeah. So, and also, like with the women's side, I'm thinking we'll get that complete, because I'm thinking that Becky Lynch might join the heel women after she beat after her match for the title in Madison Square Garden, after her sucker punch tonight, which was I like, and I think that was a nice build as well. And to get to that Survivor Series card, I know y'all was talking earlier and you were saying that John Cena, but I think John Cena, he has his match at Survivor Series, because they already said that he will wrestle on Survivor Series tonight. He wasn't supposed to wrestle, so that would even made tonight even special. He only had 2 matches left. That's Survivor Series and Saturday Night Main Event, and I think that's where you return the favor for Dom and get Dom his win, because John Cena in his promo said, "Tonight at home, I'm invincible." Well, Survivor Series is in Dom's home, so I'm invincible at my home, as it should be. My line, cheat, and steal gimmick should work, and it wouldn't matter if I get cheered in San Diego, because I'm at home, and you can excuse that with John Cena, because you really don't need the title at Saturday night's Main Event, because the retirement match itself is so much of a big thing that you can give to somebody just being in the match or retiring John Cena. What do you guys think about that?
Chris?
I still personally prefer it if the IC title is involved, but I'll tell you, Darrell, I get it. I like the idea. as well, of Dominic getting the big heroes pop. Rosie likes it
Look at
too,
that.
man. Rosie was down for it.
Timed well.
Yeah, I feel it. It would be thunderous. It would be that WrestleMania vibes when he won it, right? So that could be a moment for him. But I still wanted to have the tournament to have the belt on the line, and for Cena to lose in the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Dom, people earlier comparing Dom to Art Barr. I did that. That came up last week or two also. Just look up Art Barr online. He and Eddie Guerrero were just a great team. Love Machine Art Barr. Derek Mitchell says Art Barr is incredible and died too soon, but you can see Dom has picked up on some of the traits of Eddie and Art Barr. Yeah. Mark Biscetti says, yeah, seeing Art Barr at Worlds Collide was an eye-opener for me. Dom definitely has similar qualities. And so there's a lot there. All right. Yeah. And as far as War Games goes, I mean, remember, Paul Levesque was around for those 4-on-4 War Games matches in NXT. I don't think they necessarily are going to add women, and I don't think they need to add more than one to each of the men's side. There was a 3-on-3-on-3 once. I don't think we're doing that. Did they, am I remembering it? Did they pull that off once? Like basically a triple threat sort of format, but they also want to keep these events shorter. Like 5-on-5 just adds some time, maybe needlessly, to the matches too. So, yeah, but I mean, I think there's a lot. I'm sorry for going back to that, but there's a lot of people who could add to either the fourth and fifth spots. But the core group is what's going to be the grudge. I mean, it's sort of convenient. We get calendar, these feuds that just work out perfectly in November. Yeah.
It's like I don't know, they telegraph it or forecast it or write it or something.
Yeah. All right, Terrell, anything else? We got Effie back waiting for us, who was in the building, so we want to have time for him with the minutes we have left. But anything else you want to bring up quick?
Oh, that was nothing else. You go ahead and go back to them.
Okay.
Hopefully we get something, because they need something with that Survivor Series card, because right now you just got 2 matches. That's all.
Sweet. Terrell, always good talking to you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, Chris, real quick before I bring Effie in, do you like the NXT versus main roster format for SNME? Is that Cena? I mean, I made a big deal out of Cena wasn't given back enough, and now it's like, is that overcompensating, or is he listening to us here and going, yeah, Wade's got a point. And I'm not alone. Other people had a point. Paul Levesque is lamenting the media ever saying anything bad about him. He's such a snowflake about that stuff. But sometimes we're right, and sometimes you're in the mix of it, and you don't really see things for what they are. You're just trying to give people good matches, and then people go, wait a second, Cena should be using his equity to give back. Is Cena giving back by not being in the match, but just going, we're gonna have I'm ordaining my undercard being a bunch of new guys versus regulars? Does that qualify as giving back, and do you like the concept?
I do like the concept. I was a little surprised by the concept. I'll say if John Cena was only going to the Performance Center to take pictures and train, that's one thing. But he did go to the dungeon and was training with a level of athletes last week. Did you catch those pictures on social media?
No.
So that impressed me in a way that his involvement in NXT didn't. And so I felt that there was some genuineness tonight, that hopefully either he has realized that maybe they bungled some things, and here's a chance to end it strong, right? Where what people will remember from his retirement night is the promoting of this next generation. Yeah, it's calculated, but I like it.
Very good. All right, let's bring Effie in. Effie, thanks. You are stationed at home. Good Wi-Fi connection. Good to have you. I don't know where we left off, but I'll throw open-ended to you because we're a little bit short on time now. Tell us what stood out to you about the show that you want to share with us. You're muted, and I cannot unmute you. You have to.
We ended at low again. Sorry about that. But just quickly, with the Cena one, my notes here. They loved the Eddie segment. The crowd lost their mind for that. I can hear people laughing. It was like a big thing of laughter.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool. The first AA, I think, where it was a 2-count kick out, epic. Like, people were about to lose their mind. So when he won, crowd exploded. Like I said, it was kind of twice where they exploded when he first came out, and then when he won the title. Pretty big, epic moments. I know you love asking the correspondence for the merch. The merch was insane.
Wow.
It's the same one that he wore. I took a picture of it too. I got one. It was pretty. The Cena one sold out. The only size I had left were like XXL. and I think those are about to sell out too. The lines went like, say if it was started at corridor 10, it went to like literally like corridor 16. And it went by like that. The lines were wild. He had little shirt towel thing that he always has. Those sold out. He had the signature things he had for $50. Those sold out. The towels were $10. The shirts were $45. Those all sold out. Then there was a Cody Boston shirt. There was a lot of Jay shirts, but obviously in the arena there was Cena green everywhere. They also had a Cena $700 like Boston belt that sold out. I didn't even see it because it sold out. And then the Nikki churn, people loved. They weren't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. Honestly, I wasn't even paying attention. I thought the match was over. It happened. Shocked me. And then what else?
Hey, were they really chanting Cena left you?
Yes. They were. They were.
That's so tough,
That's
man.
Yeah.
very Boston.
Oh.
Yeah, that was prevalent throughout the arena. And I think I've been to a lot of shows, and I think for me, being there, it was a pretty good show. Like, I feel like the crowd was eating up everything they did. Like, even when Nakamura came out, the crowd lost their mind, which was a big shocker. I'm not sure if you guys heard that on the screen.
It came across.
Yeah, that was I feel like he hasn't been getting those reactions lately. So I think maybe that was a testament to the rest of the show, how just they had the crowd in the palm of their hands. They love Sheamus too. And I mean, I think it was an okay match, but for what it was, the reaction was pretty well. And then to end off with the tag team match, thought it was pretty good. And obviously the crowd lost their mind, Maria. So I know you love ranking reactions. I would say obviously Cena number 1, Cody probably number 2, Rhea 3rd, CM Punk 4th.
Yeah. I mean, that seems seems
right.
in line with what we saw on TV.
Yeah, I thought it was you love asking these questions too. I don't mind saying I was in club section 113. I paid $330 for my seat. Thought it was a pretty good value. Honestly, I thought like Cena's match quality and like the reaction, the atmosphere was better than the WrestleMania one. I was there in Vegas. I thought it was an incredible atmosphere, to be honest. I have no disappointments going to the show. I was about an hour away, so no complaints. And there's been a lot of times, even when I'm in Providence, I go and I'm like, it's kind of a lackluster, kind of upset that I'm kind of wasting my time today. No regrets, enjoyed it. Great experience.
You're talking about the merchandise, and when I saw the crowd, and it's like the last time in Boston, I was chatting with the next wrestler who was around Cena years ago, and he was just like, when I was around Cena, it wasn't like, what are we doing for the angle, or what are we doing in the match? Like, not that he didn't talk about that stuff, but like he was known for like in his peak run of always talking about merchandise, asking about the numbers, asking about ideas. Like he has been, I mean, he is a merchandise merchant. Like, you know, I'm not even passing judgment on him. I'm just saying, like, his reputation was like, that wasn't Cena going, oh, you're embarrassing me with all this custom merchandise. Like, that was, he would like talking about it. He was fascinated with how much money can I make above my payday with merch. And he innovated with the, you know, custom, the seasonal changes in colors. Like, oh, you can't wear last year's color this season or this year. It's like yeah. So, I mean, very appropriate for Cena's final Boston appearance. You just spent 3 minutes listing all the options.
It was insane. Like, the towel was cool. I actually wanted it. It sold out. But I know you're wrapping up, but does it matter, like, per person? Like, does Cena get paid more for his merchandise than, like, say, LA Knight? Or is it all the same there across the board, and whoever sells the most gets the most?
I think, you know what? I don't know if Cena gets a better percentage cut. Certainly he'd have the leverage to negotiate that for his return. Hogan, I mean, famously got special deals like from WCW, especially with Bischoff, in terms of, you know, percent of gate and all that. I don't know that Cena would need, I mean, he sells so much. I don't know that he'd go in and go, I want an extra 15% of a cut, but he might have. But he definitely gets for everything that sells, he gets a cut of it. So if he does twice the merchandise, he gets twice the money. But I mean, he or his agent, I'm sure, have leverage to say, you know, we want a higher percentage. But the thing is WWE knows people only have, you know, so much money to spend on merch. And if Cena's getting 80% of the cut and some other wrestlers getting only 30% of the cut, they might want to produce more merchandise for the other wrestler. So Cena doesn't want to create a disincentive for WWE to market it.
I have two things to end off on. So, one, crowd loved it. I heard no negativity around. Everyone enjoyed their time there. But two, question to you: do you think I got swindled? Do you think Cena ever comes back to Boston? Like, do you think all the people that spent the money on the pre-sale got swindled? I guess. Do you think he's coming back to Boston? Do you think he's going to come back for another run? Or
I think they are playing loose with the term last time in Boston, because I think the implication they will rely on 2.5 or 3 or 4 years from now, or 8 months from now, is, well, we met as an active wrestler, of course. His last time as an active wrestler, but of course he's going to come back as a legend. You weren't foolish enough to think he was never going to step foot in a WWE show as John Cena again. We just meant as an active wrestler. My assumption all along has been that, but I have also noted the advertising does not have asterisk, commitment subject to nuance. So would it? I'll ask you: do you believe you saw John Cena's last appearance on a WWE show in the Boston Garden in TDU?
no, I think I'm on the same boat as you. I think he comes back for appearances, but last time wrestling in Boston, I think. So I don't know him, obviously, none of us do, but it seems like he's a man of his word in the terms of like, I'm not gonna wrestle again. Like, no one can pay me. The Saudi can't pay me. So I think
I don't think John Cena's going to wrestle after December 13th. I don't. I'm not saying John. I know John Cena won't wrestle again. But I don't think he's going to. Like, I think he came across with such certitude and underlined it in ways that no one is asking him to underline, and put his integrity, his reputation on the line in a way that nobody was asking. You're a pro wrestler retiring. You don't need to go this far. So if he does come back, it's going to be worse, because nobody asked him to. It's like, I have all kinds of analogies in my head, but like, you can say it with such force that it makes violating it way worse than it would have been if you just sort of quietly said what everyone says and then you reneged on it. So yeah, if he comes back, he's really, really, really swindling. It'll be greedy and worthy of harsh criticism if he does, because he's been so strong in saying he won't wrestle again. I think he's being a little cute about the last appearance in Boston. Like, it's implied as a wrestler. I think, he's not going to be in every city again. This is likely his last in-person appearance at most of these arenas, but there will be a time where there's probably an event where there's a reason for him to be around. It's also possible he's like, I can't wait to be gone from this place.
Yeah.
I want to go out. I want to never be seen again. And he might not even do a Hall of Fame or anything ever again. He might be like, I'm done with. I mean, I don't think he's on the outs with TKO, but I could see him having it really, really, really be an endpoint.
Yeah,
I'm 100% there, actually. I think the story we get is that he's actually going to do something to make his mark, to leave a legacy in wrestling, is to be honest and tell the truth and leave when he leaves. And that's it. Yeah. People will remember him for that. Yeah. They won't remember him if he keeps coming back to milk it.
Effie, thanks.
Oh, for sure. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, appreciate you reconnecting with us after those problems.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, man. Thank you. Have a good night.
Appreciate it. If you want to be an on-site correspondent, Wade Keller Podcast at gmail.com. Wade Keller Podcast at gmail.com. And let us know if you're going to a show and you can be on, like Taylor and Effie were tonight. It's always fun getting on-site perspectives. Yeah. If you haven't heard, we have a sale, and you can get details on it at pwtorch.com/govip. The coupon code is 2025NOV. 2025NOV. That gives you $9 off a 1-month sub, so it ends up being $3.99. Try us for a month, just as a favor to us if you like what we do, and then use it up. Like, dive into everything. De-stress from the holidays and sign up for our podcast feed and check out all the exclusive features. We think you'll love it. And if you don't, just cancel. But give us a try. Yeah. pwtorch.com/govip, and credit card, debit card, PayPal, all kinds of ways to sign up. We'll be by with a flagship tomorrow, if all goes as planned, as Todd and I always say, and then the Dynamite post show Wednesday and SmackDown on Friday. Chris, thanks. Always a blast talking wrestling with you. Had a lot to talk about. I feel like we just scratched the surface of a few things.
That was wild. I'll be at Blood and Guts in Greensboro this Wednesday night. If you want me to call in afterwards.
I do. So we'll hear from you Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully with a better phone connection than we got in Boston.
I think I'll be there. Greensboro's not a hot city like what Boston is. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks everybody for your support. Thanks for listening. Like the show, comment below, give us a 5-star rating, all that stuff. Subscribe, set alarms, bells and whistles, all that stuff. Thanks, Chris. And thanks everybody. We'll talk to you next time.